What's going on, guys? It's your boy John the Liquidator coming back with breaking news yet again. So it looked like Jalen Hurts actually helped Shedeur out today during his injury and kind of getting him off the field. Guys, for this one here, we got to go all the way up to Philly. Let's get it. Let's go.
Just finishing and continue to take advantage of those good position plays where he's in position to make a play. And so as a quarterback, I want to help him out and put him in those positions and obviously on their end finishing.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Today, we have a major update on Shedeur Sanders, an update that's raising a lot of questions. We're talking about the report that Shedeur suffered an oblique injury during the Eagles-Browns joint practice, and we're going to cover what Eagles quarterback Jalen Hurts had to say about him afterwards. We're keeping this straightforward, all facts, all in one go. Right after the Philadelphia Eagles and Cleveland Browns wrapped up their joint practice, it was obvious something wasn't right. Shedeur Sanders, the rookie quarterback many have been eager to see in action, didn't take a single rep in the team drills. Not one. That immediately sparked questions. Then, Browns insider Mary Kay Cabot reported that Shedeur had suffered an oblique injury early in practice. According to her, he was sidelined for the rest of the day, scheduled for an MRI, and would probably miss the upcoming preseason game on Saturday. On paper, that's a standard injury update. But the way this unfolded left a lot of people, including me, wondering if the full story is being told.
Conversation, he came to me and just, wanted to talk. And I'm always there, as said earlier, of giving my perspective on what I see and how I've gone about things. And ultimately, it takes a great deal of patience and hard work and a sense of resilience. You got to want it. You got to want it. And so I'm supporting him from where I am and wishing him nothing but the best with his opportunities.
Here's why. Before practice began, Shedeur didn't look like a guy nursing an injury. He was going through warm-ups, throwing weighted balls, moving fluidly, and putting good velocity on his passes. No visible signs of discomfort, no wincing, no holding back. He looked locked in and ready to compete. Then, out of nowhere, he's ruled out for the rest of the session with an injury described as serious enough to keep him from throwing at all. That's a sharp contrast from what we saw just minutes earlier. What makes this even harder to buy is when you compare it to how other quarterbacks are handled when they're dealing with minor injuries.
Told me that Shedeur Sanders complained of oblique soreness during the warm-ups this morning, and they made a decision to shut him down.
Across the league, you'll often see QBs still participating in 7-on-7 drills or taking limited reps, even if they're not at 100%. But Shedeur? Shut down completely. No reps, no partial work, nothing. If he was really that hurt, you could argue he shouldn't have even been in full pads. Yet, after practice, there he was, still on the field, working and talking with one of the best quarterbacks in the league.
I know a lot of people may think that he might not be hurt for real. After seeing what I just found out Jalen Hurts did, I think he is hurt for real, bro. It's kind of unfortunate, but it's super dope to see veteran players like Jalen Hurts actually taking Shedeur under his wing, even though he's on a totally another damn team.
And that's where Jalen Hurts comes in. When most of the players had cleared out, Shedeur stayed behind with Hurts for a long one-on-one conversation. No cameras in their faces, no crowd around them, just two quarterbacks talking. Hurts didn't just give him a quick handshake and some generic advice. He invested real time into that conversation, showing respect for Shedeur and interest in his growth as a player. This wasn't a meaningless chat, it was mentorship. After was Jalen Hurts.
It was very competitive. I've always enjoyed every joint practice just from that state. And then we got a lot of guys not practicing as well. And so being able to put guys in different situations and just build and learn. And, when you go into a joint practice, I've noticed and over time, there's sometimes where you're game planning. There's sometimes where you're aware. And there's sometimes that you're not game planning for the practice. You kind of just go out there and try to play ball. And so Coach Schwartz, Coach Stefanski, and the Browns are always a great team to compete against. They got a great talent.
Spoke briefly about it. He made it clear that he wanted to keep the conversation intimate, but gave a glimpse into what they discussed. His words were simple but important. We had a very lengthy conversation. He came to me and wanted to talk, and I'm always there to give my perspective. It takes a great deal of patience, hard work, and resilience. You've got to want it. I'm supporting him from where I am and wish the best for this opportunity. For Shedeur, hearing that from someone like Hurts, a guy who's been doubted, who's faced pressure, and who's climbed to the top of the league, is invaluable. But that raises another question. If Shedeur was hurt badly enough to miss all team drills, why was he able to stay after and work with Hurts? Why was he still throwing and moving without issue? To some, it doesn't add up. And if you've been following Shedeur's career, you know this isn't the first time things haven't added up. Remember the draft? Shedeur was projected by many to be a first-round pick. His mechanics, leadership, and ability to handle pressure all drew praise. But he slid all the way to the 5th round. Why? An anonymous source claimed he said certain things in team meetings that hurt his stock. No one ever on record. No proof, just whispers. Whispers that were enough to cost him millions and change his NFL starting point completely. Now we see another setback, and for some fans, it feels like history repeating itself. The Cleveland Browns quarterback room is crowded. There's veteran competition, other young players fighting for reps. Every snap in practice is valuable. So, when other QBs with minor injuries still get to throw, but Shedeur is shut down entirely, it makes you wonder if the decision was really about his health or about limiting his opportunities. When you pair that with the fact that he was fully participating in warm-ups and then still out there after practice with Hurts, the oblique injury starts to look less like a brick wall and more like a smokescreen. Now, to be clear, oblique injuries are real and can be tricky. They can range from a mild strain that heals in a week or two to a severe tear that can keep you out for over a month. But that's exactly why the handling of this situation feels inconsistent. If it's bad enough to bench him for 8 weeks, why risk having him in full pads throwing weighted balls before practice? And if it's mild enough to let him hang around after practice working with Hurts, why shut him down completely during drills? It's the lack of consistency that fuels the suspicion. One thing's for sure, Shedeur Sanders didn't look like a player on the verge of a long injury absence. He looked like a player ready to compete. And whether or not the injury is legit, the optics are strange, especially given the Browns' history with how they've handled him since the draft. That's why the Jalen Hurts interaction matters so much here. Hurts is a living example of what patience and resilience can do. He started his NFL career with doubts swirling around him. He was benched in college. He's been told, "You're not the guy," more than once. And now, he's one of the most respected quarterbacks in the league. For Shedeur, hearing directly from someone who's been through that and made it to the top is priceless advice. Hurts' emphasis on wanting it, truly wanting it, is the kind of mindset that can keep Shedeur locked in no matter what obstacles are thrown his way. This whole situation boils down to 3 things: trust, opportunity, and narrative. Can we trust the official injury story? Will Shedeur get the fair opportunity to compete for reps? And how will the narrative around him be shaped? By the Browns' internal decisions, by the media, or by what he's able to show on the field? If the MRI confirms a legitimate injury, then it's an unfortunate setback. But if this is just another way to keep him off the field, it's yet another chapter in the politics of the NFL that can derail a young quarterback's career before it even gets going. For now, here are the facts. Shedeur Sanders didn't take any team reps during the joint practice. Mary Kay reported he has an oblique injury and will likely miss the next game. Before practice, he looked ready to go. After practice, he stayed on the field with Jalen Hurts for an extended, meaningful conversation. Hurts publicly said it takes patience, resilience, and hard work, and that he supports Shedeur in this opportunity. And the Browns, they say he's hurt. Some of us aren't convinced. Regardless of where you stand, it's clear Shedeur has people in his corner, both inside the locker room and across the league. And whether this injury is real or not, one thing is certain: he'll be ready when his number is called. If he's given a fair shot, he'll compete. If he's not, he'll keep working until he gets one. And when he does, that's when we'll see the real story play out. Not in press conferences, not in injury reports, but on the field.